He was the high-flying superstar of wrestling, but now Jimmy Superfly Snuka is in the battle of his life.
The Superfly!
Wow, what a shot!
The Hall of Fame wrestler Snuka was married with 4 children at the time of his girlfriend's death and had a history of drinking, drug use, and womanizing. He had a previous arrest for dragging Argentino down a hotel hallway.
Lehigh County prosecutors say new witnesses and a push from the victim's family led to the case being reopened before a grand jury, and now murder charges against James Snuka for the death of his girlfriend 32 years ago.
The family of Nancy Argentino has been notified about Mr. Snuka's arrest, and I want to thank them for their patience during the time that this case was being investigated by the grand jury.
The Camden County resident known professionally as Jimmy Superfly Snuka is now 72 and in failing health. He is still listed as a superstar on the World Wrestling Entertainment's website. Police say that since 1983, Snuka has changed his story repeatedly. Prosecutors believe that following a nearby show that night, an argument led to Snuka assaulting Argentino and then withholding medical care, causing her death. Another compelling new piece of evidence for the
biography, which he talked about his frequent use of alcohol, steroids, cocaine.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka launched himself from the top rope. The roar of the crowd was deafening. He was a wrestling superstar in the 1980s. His charisma was undeniable. Fans adored his high-flying antics. But behind the glitz and glamour, a dark secret lurked, a secret that would haunt Snuka forever. Snuka's personal life was troubled. His relationship with Nancy Argentino was tumultuous. They were deeply in love, yet their passion often turned volatile. Arguments were frequent. Tensions ran high. The wrestling world, however, remained oblivious. Fans continued to cheer for their hero. They had no idea about the darkness that shadowed him. 10th, 1983, a date forever etched in wrestling infamy. Snuka and Argentino were staying at a motel in Whitehall, Pennsylvania. They had just returned from a wrestling event. The atmosphere was tense. An argument erupted between the couple. Things escalated quickly. Hours later, Argentino lay dead, her life brutally cut short. Snuka claimed Argentino's death was an accident. He said she had slipped and hit her head. The story seemed plausible at first, but upon closer inspection, doubts began to surface. Argentino's injuries didn't quite match Snuka's explanation. Something didn't feel right. Argentino's injuries were extensive. She had suffered a fractured skull and multiple contusions. The autopsy report was damning. It indicated blunt force trauma as the cause of death. The evidence suggested a struggle, not a simple fall. Whispers of suspicion began to circulate. Could Snuka have been involved in Argentino's death? The police questioned Snuka. His story was inconsistent. He changed his account of the events multiple times. He seemed evasive and nervous. Red flags were raised, but despite the inconsistencies and the mounting evidence, no charges were filed against Snuka. The case went cold. Justice for Nancy Argentino seemed elusive. Justice delayed. Snuka's career continued to flourish. He remained a popular figure in the wrestling world. He seemed unfazed by the shadow of Argentino's death. Meanwhile, her family was left devastated and heartbroken. They never gave up hope. They fought tirelessly for justice, seeking answers and accountability. Years turned into decades. The case remained unsolved. Snuka continued to evade responsibility. Argentino's family refused to be silenced. They kept her memory alive, pushing for the case to be reopened. Finally, in 2013, their persistence paid off. New evidence came to light. The case was reopened. A legacy tarnished. In 2015, 32 years after Argentino's death, Snuka was charged with third-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter. The wrestling world was shocked. Snuka, now elderly and frail, was finally facing justice. But it was too late for a trial. Snuka was deemed mentally unfit to stand trial due to his declining health. He died in 2017, never having faced a jury.
15 feet high!
Nancy Argentino's death remains a tragic reminder of the dark side of fame, but his alleged crime tarnished his image forever.